Howdy! As you've just seen from the previous video, I have successfully, although not entirely, admittedly, recreated the game Centipede, and now I'm going to show it off a bit. Um, so first of all, we've got the blaster. The blaster object, of course, is how we control the game. Here, let me just play this out for you. I can move using the arrow buttons. Shoot with the space button. I can only shoot one at a time. And when I die, I explode. Respawn. Sorts. If I run out of lives, you can see my lives up there. You just quickly suicide myself. If you run out of lives, you lose the game. Simple as that. Now, I should say the controls are very interesting here too, because I've implemented a strategy pattern. If I could just pull it up right here. Bullet. Yeah, control-based strategy. I have two different modes. One is for AI control. This is when it's playing the attractor mode. The controller controls itself. As you can see here, it's moving on its own. It's stopping on its own, so you know. And then, so all of that is all the controls are going into the blaster, where it's activating these functions and stuff to help make it move in sorts. Lots of interesting code there. And then there's a player control, which obviously lets me control the blaster. Bullets. Bullet, 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 bullet. My bullet is factory generated, as you can see. Track of all my bullets here. Goes into the object pool, gets reset whenever it gets destroyed. Yeah, that's about it for the bullet. Mushroom. Mushrooms. My mushroom. Oh, this is the manager. This is all. Yeah, I have a hefty lot to talk about the mushroom manager. I mean, it basically is the mushroom field, but I accidentally called it mushroom manager in the beginning and never really changed it, so it's just sort of like that. Mushroom, 4 lives. Poison save with a simple bullion. And as you've probably already seen, if I just shoot a bunch of these mushrooms, they regenerate. That's gonna get explained when I talk about the mushroom manager. But yeah. The centipede. Yeah, hold on, let me bring that up. My centipede is very interesting. As you can see here. Let's show it off a bit. It moves in its own linear pattern up here. When I hit it, it makes an explosion and leaves a mushroom behind. It also splits when it hits, which is fairly cool. When it reaches the bottom, it goes back up until it reaches the top of the player zone. where it's just sort of stuck in my area for the rest until I kill it. Or it kills me, of course. And then, of course, here's what happens when the scorpion shows up and that collides. When it collides, it gets poisoned. Of course, hold on, let me get... is it gonna hit? Yeah. Yeah. When it gets hit, it goes straight down to the ground. So yeah, speaking of Scorpion, let's talk about it. They'll make this loud, obnoxious noise when it's on screen. They'll poison each mushroom it leaves behind. Let me just read this out. It's 2 cells wide, creates poison mushrooms, sprite aligns with movement direction. Yeah, pretty much all that was demonstrated there. Flea. Now let me get the flea. Fleas spawn when there are less than 6 mushrooms in the player zone. So it'll just keep coming down like that until there's more than 6 until I destroy that. The fleas also have 2 hit points. If I hit it once, they'll speed up and stop dropping mushrooms. Yeah. And lastly, and most irritatingly, we've got the spider. Leave this spider on. Spider spawn every 5 seconds. It's like not on screen. It makes this annoying sound and it's very, very unpredictable. It's easily the thing that'll kill you the most. All these enemies also explode on contact with my bullet, of course. Okay. Now getting into some of the nitty-gritty. The mushroom field. This is my mushroom field. As you can imagine, this is what creates the grid on screen. The bunch of random mushrooms. This is what keeps track of it all. At the start, I have a double array of mushrooms, and I set it all empty right away. Yeah, this is all very complicated stuff. This is what happens when the player dies, and so this is all part of a regeneration thing. First it'll activate this. It'll take a small pause for actually starting to regenerate. And then it goes through this whole loop cycle until all the ones that need to be regenerated are regenerated. And then I'll go here to the first alarm and then go back to the game manager to check if it needs to get its high score updated or all that jazz. This is how I spawn mushrooms. um when the grid is first created, of course. I took note of like the different pattern of the specific patterns of the actual game itself, and so I was very specific in how I randomized these mushrooms. Like for like the player zone, there's only like one or zero that like spawn, but like for most of the board, it's either one, two, or three per row. Um, this is pretty self-explanatory. This is how I add mushrooms. I check if it's empty, and then if it's not, I ignore it. But if it is, then I add it. If it's in the player zone, um I tally that. And this is what when I remove a mushroom. Um Usually in between